So I'm driving home now after I finished my little stream talking about the person who said, "Are you in a bad mood today?" While I'm having these thoughts and they're being freshly baked, I thought that I would record them and share them with you. Sorry that the setup is not optimal. But one of you left a comment saying that customer service is not the right job for me. And I said, well, customer service is the right job for me, blah, blah, blah. Well, let me now try to break down why I think customer service is the right job for me. I know how to interact with people, even though I don't like it, even though I'm very introverted. But the way I was raised is you have distinctions. You are sometimes in professional settings. I know how to manifest professionally. Sometimes you are in informal settings. I know how to behave in informal settings without being so extra. And then there are the extremely informal settings in which you might be somewhere like at the gym or in the privacy of your friends from high school or something like that. And by privacy, I mean that it's a personal life kind of thing. Maybe you share a history with this person, but you're not encountering each other in public. You may be hanging out in a house or hanging out in a backyard, something like that. To me, a hangout spot like that is extremely informal. Anything goes. Well, what makes me say that I'm good at customer service is that I am extremely attentive. I know how to converse with people. I know how to talk to you in a way that's not accusatory. Even if something is your fault, which most of the time it is when you're in customer service, even when something is our fault, I know how to also be a good representative of our apologies for whatever bad service it is that you experienced. Say the price was wrong, or a product was damaged on the shelf, or if it's a section in which we have to put together something for you, like say we made a cake for you or something and we messed up the message, I know how to own that and how to genuinely express my apologies and be empathetic. Even though I don't care about those things, it's a first world problem, and the people in my personal circle who matter to me don't get offended like that, and they're not people I need to impress. I still know what it's like for you to try to impress somebody, say something like a child, and because children are so impressionable, ruining a cake might be a big deal. If it were me, if it were my business, I would legit be like, well, you need to use this opportunity to raise your child to understand that shit in life goes wrong sometimes, and that not everything that you're expecting, even if you're paying for it, it doesn't necessarily have to exceed your expectations. Sometimes what you're envisioning is not something that somebody else who you have picked to serve you can convey. We're not all amazing world-class cake artists, for example. I need to tell you guys a story about Mother's Day if I didn't already, but I'm going to sum it up as best as possible. I had this lady go, oh, my daughter got offended because she's a mom and I didn't get her a Mother's Day card, because for me, when I think of Mother's Day, I think about my own mom. This was an elder lady, but my mom has long passed, blah, blah, blah. You can imagine how the rest of that conversation went. In my mind, when this old lady said that about her daughter, I thought to myself, I feel so bad for you, because clearly your daughter was probably raised with a lot of privilege, very much catered to, and had too much attention, the opposite of what I had, that now you accustomed her improperly to something that now she's expecting. And if you don't deliver, then she gets offended easily. To me, that daughter sounds like someone who has issues with getting offended easily. That's not a good thing. That's not a good trait at all. And that's why I feel like I'm good at customer service, because people will tell me those things. People will share those things with me. But I'll be like, I'm sorry to hear that. Thanks for sharing your story, blah, blah, blah. But I'm not going to entertain the person to fuel their emotions. I'm going to try to make their feeling, their emotion, a little less palpable, a little less severe. And that's not a skill that everybody has. Some people can escalate the situation and make it far worse. That's why I say I'm great at customer service, because of my character, precisely. But I don't expect everybody to see it like that. So in conclusion, customer service is the perfect job for me because, of course, I don't have any skills. I lack skills and education. So that is literally the only true option I have for me to make a living. Another aspect of me that I trust is that I can control my tone. And even though I have a right to be frustrated at these people sometimes, I don't show it. And the good thing is that now I have a manager who, for the past 3 years, has shown me that is the proper style. That is an executable style, like being calm, collected, kind. In the past, I had managers that they were older, and I'm guessing it was just the times from those decades. There were managers who used to be very stern and get into arguments with people sometimes. And sometimes I thought that even though they're my managers, some of the conflicts could have been easily avoided if they hadn't engaged with the customer, if they hadn't tried to argue with the customer. I'm from a time in which all I know is that I shouldn't entertain the customer, because even if I did, it's a lose situation. But in the past, I had managers who really tried to execute their authority very aggressively, whereas now management's style is more of a, okay, I got you, I understand what you're saying, da 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 da, express the facts, as opposed to being stern and being like, no ma'am, that's not on the policy, we can't do that, we don't do that, blah blah blah. See, there is a difference. For my time, for my current season, the customer service style that is expected of us now is compatible with me, whereas ages ago, when I had a management that was incompatible with my style, that's when I was struggling at customer service and I nearly gave up. But then I noticed that I wasn't the problem. The same issues that I was experiencing with that type of management were the issues that people similar to me, with the same skills as me, were having. Ultimately, I learned and concluded that when you're incompatible with someone's character, that's not really on you. That's on both. All I knew to do is to do my job and deliver it with pleasantry, even if the customer wasn't being pleasant with me. Trust me, I'm perfect for customer service. I wish you could try me one day. Most people who give up at customer service give up because they do not know how to manage those different characters, the different people that you see. I come to the channel and bitch and moan about it because I want to understand what drove a person to get to that level. It's not that I'm having trouble coping with it. I like to share the experience and make fun of it. It helps me get it out of my system. The issues that these people have, like treating me without courtesy, being unreasonable, not accepting the rules and policies, that's not a problem that I have as a customer. That's not a behavior that I display. I, as someone who does not act like that, who does not behave like that or feel like that, I want to put this out there to understand the people who are like that. And if I am at risk of becoming like that, I want to be aware, called out on it, and make myself accountable, because I know how to be accountable. The people I see every day and serve every day, a lot of them are not aware. But it is awesome when I have a shitty interaction with a customer and my demeanor, because I'm so good at customer service and I'm perfect for customer service, they have been like, you know what, I apologize. I don't know why I got so upset, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, it's okay, no problem. What matters is we resolved it. And I believe that I have shared those stories before when they happened years ago. It doesn't happen often that a customer accepts that they fucked up, but it does happen. When that happened, that they apologized for how they treated me, that's when I knew that I was doing my job. Not only was I doing it just to get by, I was doing it well. So again, I'm just well equipped for the job, and I guess sometimes people run into me expecting that I will be dominated and manipulated like they're used to doing to other people, but I'm so confident in myself and I don't have those problems that I don't give in. And they just do not know what to do with someone like me. They're grossed out as I am. experiencing my interactions with them. I hope that makes sense. And I guess that the part of the job that I can say is no longer right for me is that aspect, that extra detail that's not in my job description, which is when these people be trauma dumping on me, or now that my skill level is super high because I should have left that position maybe 8 years ago and be now in management territory. I guess people don't know what to do with someone who's very well seasoned in a role. Usually, you practice in a role with the intent to move up. I'm not moving up. If I'm not moving up, I'm only going to continue to get better at the role I'm performing at this time. That's what experience does. How do I cope with that? But I'm not going to stop being me, stop my skill level, stop moving like I naturally move just because that offends people who cannot do nearly remotely resemble anything that I do, that they see me do. That's why they look for my service as opposed to them serving themselves. I am at the summit in my role. I'm looking to the side and it's like, okay, I'm hanging out on the summit by myself. But at the same time, I think it's a good thing that I remain in my role and I refuse to move up, because that way we can demonstrate to those who are at my position what is actually possible. If you commit to something, commit to becoming an expert in what you're doing. Maybe that's why I'm indestructible, but a lot of the new people, for example, this job breaks them within a month. If we're lucky, sometimes it's within 2 weeks. Sometimes they don't even come back for their 4th shift. What does that tell you? I come from the old new times for this job. If I were to leave, then there's really no one else left to tell them how to transition into this role. Nobody exists doing that anymore, almost. Like if you're lucky, some of your colleagues have stayed behind, but a lot of us aren't staying. And that's the scary part. You cannot replace years of experience and expect for the new people to inherit that.